All right, let's jump right into this explainer and unpack the sudden, honestly pretty wild release of Anthropic's Claude Opus 4.8. I mean, if you've been following the AI space even casually, you know things are moving fast. But the sheer velocity we're seeing right now, it's literally something else entirely. Today, we're going to dig into the official announcements, comb through the technical docs, and do some deep dive cost analysis to figure out exactly what this new model brings to the table.
So, setting the stage here, Anthropic is noting that early testers are finding this model has much sharper judgment and, honestly, unprecedented honesty. It's making it a vastly more effective and independent collaborator. What's really fascinating to me is that they're specifically highlighting its ability to flag its own uncertainties and avoid making unsupported claims. They aren't just selling us raw power anymore. They're pushing hardcore reliability for long-running, independent tasks. It's like having a coworker who actually admits when they don't know something. We've got a lot of ground to cover, so here is our roadmap. We'll meet Opus 4.8, run through the benchmark numbers, explore the new developer tools, look under the hood at the AWS architecture limits, and finally, break down the actual economics.
Let's meet the newest heavyweight in the AI arena.
Get this, it dropped on May 28, 2026. Now, consider that timeline for a second. That is literally just 6 weeks after the release of version 4.7. Anthropic is just dramatically ramping up their upgrade cadence. But the real kicker? The story isn't just the speed. It's that they are keeping the base price exactly the same, while completely swapping in a massively upgraded engine.
Section 2. By the numbers. Talk is cheap, so let's prove the upgrade.
Numbers don't lie, right? Looking at the Agentic coding scores, we're seeing a leap from 64.3% up to 69.2%. A nearly 5% jump on this specific benchmark is a really big deal. It means Opus 4.8 is significantly better at writing, testing, and fixing complex code entirely on its own. You don't have to hold its hand through every single function call anymore.
But it's not just coding. We're seeing really solid bumps across the board. Multidisciplinary reasoning jumps up over 3%, and agentic computer use ticks up to a highly capable 83.4%. But you have to look at the upgraded fast mode. This is huge. It operates 2.5 times quicker, and it costs 3 times less than before. That is an absolute win for tasks where you need speed, but maybe don't need maximum heavy-duty reasoning power.
Moving right along to Section 3, powerful new developer tools. A recent 9to5 Mac report actually highlighted 3 game-changing updates that are dropping right alongside the 4.8 model. We're getting dynamic workflows in Research Preview, a brand new granular effort control system via Claude Code, and a massive update to the Messages API that allows for mid-task system entries.
So, what does that first one, dynamic workflows, actually mean for you? Basically, it lets Claude off the leash to act as a truly independent agent. You can hand it a massive, incredibly complex programming problem, and it will break the whole thing down and tackle it in the background, autonomously. No more constantly prompting it for the next step.
And if you're a developer using the API, this gets even better. The Messages API now accepts system entries right inside the messages array. So picture this. Claude is right in the middle of a massive dynamic workflow, and you realized you need to tweak the rules. You can literally inject new system instructions mid-task. And the absolute best part? It updates its behavior instantly without breaking your prompt cache. That saves you serious compute time and money.
Section 4. Architecture and limits. Let's peel back another layer and look under the hood of AWS Bedrock.
1 million tokens. Let that sink in for a second. Opus 4.8 features a staggering 1 million token context window, and it's generally available with 0 premium markup just for using the larger window. You can feed this thing entire sprawling code repositories, massive financial ledgers, or gigantic document libraries in a single prompt.
And paired with that massive input, you're getting up to 128,000 max output tokens. This is crucial because it gives the model the runway it needs to generate incredibly deep, detailed, and expansive code blocks or comprehensive analytical reports. No more awkward cutoffs right in the middle of a sentence.
Now, for the enterprise folks routing this through AWS Bedrock, you're going to be doing a bit of a balancing act between 2 distinct endpoints. You have the Bedrock Mantle endpoint for your advanced features, like the Messages API and computing use, giving you a default quota of 20 million input tokens per minute. Then you've got the Bedrock Runtime endpoint. This is for pure, raw throughput via the Converse API, which bumps you up to 30 million tokens per minute.
Okay, so we've covered the power, we've talked about the independent coding tools and the massive enterprise specs, but we really need to address the elephant in the room. What does it actually cost to run a model that thinks this deeply?
Which brings us to our final section, the economics of Opus, and how you can navigate what people are calling the 36x trap.
Look, if you're doing intense, agentic coding using Claude Code, a single 5-hour session could easily burn through enough tokens to rack up $48 at raw API prices, just for one session. This is exactly why the flat $20 a month Pro subscription is an unbelievable steal for daily power users. You are basically getting heavily subsidized compute.
But wait, if you're building enterprise apps and you absolutely must use the API, Anthropic's built-in prompt caching can miraculously slash your input costs. If you park your heavy, frequently used system instructions and documents right at the start of your prompt, caching them means any subsequent reads only cost 10% of the normal input price. That is a 90% savings on your heaviest context. It's a game changer.
So, the biggest takeaway here is that you can actively tame those massive API bills. First, maximize your prompt caching, like we just talked about. Second, utilize the batch API for non-urgent tasks. I mean, if you can wait 24 hours for a result, you get a straight 50% discount. And third, if you don't need deep philosophical reasoning for a simple task, strictly cap your extended thinking tokens. You definitely don't want the model over-engineering a simple text summary at $25 per million output tokens.
Which leaves us with a really critical question for your tech stack as we wrap up this explainer. As AI models like Opus 4.8 become fully agentic, dynamic, and totally capable of burning through millions of tokens in minutes, will you run your team on safe, predictable monthly subscriptions, or do you have the engineering discipline to master the raw economics of the API? It's a choice that can absolutely define your bottom line this year. Thanks so much for joining me on this one, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.